Well, hello. Welcome to Baker Lake or Baker River, depending on which trailhead you go to. I went to the wrong one first. This is obviously Baker River. We went to Baker Lake first. I think they're also referred to as Baker Lake North and Baker Lake South. We're gonna head to the first or second campground. I think the first one's about 3 miles and the second one's about 6 miles. So far, this has been one of the most breathtaking places I've been so far. There's only a couple of cars in the parking lot here, so we'll see how crowded it is. Well, I'm hoping to make it down here to this first camp in about 2.5 hours. I don't think it'll be too terribly hard. The route's pretty flat, but if there's any crazy stuff I gotta cross and that sort of thing, I won't add to it, but there's a couple other people out, so all the reviews said it was a pretty easy walk, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. We'll see if we can get to that second camp, but maybe just too far, but let's see how we do. We're about a quarter mile in now, and nice views. Starting to get pretty warm. The first place I come across to get water, I'm getting some. Since I brought the winter load up, this thing seems somewhat heavy, slowing me down. Well, as we cross the sway bridge, you can really feel it sway under your feet. We get over here, cross another small bridge, hopefully find some water. Weird reason, I'm just dying of thirst this time. Well, the rivers are low around here because the moisture is still snowpack. You can see it way up there, but the rivers are pretty low, but they're still moving. Now, once we get a little bit of warm weather, though, this place will be something. Still haven't seen anybody, but people might have continued up the river trail to North Cascades National Park. You have to have a backcountry permit to stay overnight there, but I think you can day hike there and just enter from here. But they may have gone this way, down here to the camps. We'll see. It's been a super easy trail so far. There's supposed to be a windfall on a boardwalk down here somewhere that's supposed to be hard to get over, so I'm keeping a lookout for that. Looks like some kind of little something could sleep in there. Interesting stuff like that all along these trails. We're about 1.5 miles in, going up to this first set of campsites. Water level's really low in Baker Lake and in these rivers. It's because Baker Lake is actually a reservoir, and I think it's a dry time of the year. But it looks really low when I went over that dam. I would have stopped and took some pictures, but there was a lot of signs that said not to do so. Pretty good drop off one side of the dam, probably 500 feet on one side and about 50 on the other into the water. But even the rivers look pretty low. I'm still looking for water. There should be some down here. I think it's called Hidden Creek. The one we're going to is called Noisy Creek. Well, it's actually really difficult to get close to the water without risking life and limb, so I guess we'll have to pass it on to the next water crossing. Looks like we finally made it to water. I'm gonna get a drink, cool off, and then I don't think it was, but maybe a mile and 3/4 to the campsite, so looking pretty good. I think the sun goes down at either 7 or 8 tonight, so we got plenty of time to get there. Now that I got this, I feel like I'm gonna be able to move a little bit faster, and knee's not gonna hurt as much. Should be pretty easy from here out. Well, as I was making that last water crossing, somebody passed me, so it looks like we'll be sharing at least the camps tonight. And I slipped on a little bit of moss. If I could add anything to these Soleo boots, it would be water lugs, but I slipped a little bit, enough to go backwards with the monopod and knock the microphone transmitter down into the water, and I had to stick it in up to my shoulder to get it back out, and it was still on. I guess it's waterproof. Hats off to Rode. Well, the extremely short focal length kind of takes away some of the impact of the mountains back there, but the view over here by Baker Lake is absolutely stunning. And it looks like the microphone receiver is still trucking along, so I still think we might have got away with one. Hopefully. Still keeping it in my hands, keeping it warm, get it as dry as possible. Turning it off in between filmings. Let's see if we can get out from behind this tree. Get a decent view of Mount Baker back there. Well, if you're wondering why there's these stumps down there, it's because the lake is low, and when they built the reservoir, they planned out where the depth was gonna go up to, and they dammed up the river, and they let them log everything that was gonna become submerged, because it would die anyway. And the stumps, I don't know if you can see this, become submerged, and they don't rot when they're submerged, so they remain. So those are the stumps from when they built the actual reservoir in the dam. Well, it looks like we made it to the Noisy Creek campsites. You kind of go past the bathroom from what the reviews say, kind of towards the lake. There should be somebody else here, but that guy was going so fast he might have went on down to the next group of sites. Well, I haven't even gone down to the water to see how close it is yet. I've just kind of been taking it all in. It's one of the most peaceful places I've gotten to camp. It's really neat. I bet the few campsites here with the bear boxes and the fire rings fill up really quickly in the nicer weather. I came out when it was going to get down to freezing, so as to avoid the crowds. And there was another person here. Looks like they're staying, but I heard him for a while, and now I don't, so we'll see how that goes. This is the area they want you to put your tent, so I'll probably do that. Right over here by the lake, and there's actually a a place to have a fire over here, as you can see, but people have built multiple like fire rings down here on the beach out of drift logs and rocks and stuff. Well, you can always tell which ones of these are old big cedar trees because the middle of it is rotted out. Well, if you're thinking about getting one of these Motorola Defy devices, and at least living as far north as I do or as mountainous an area or whatever it is that blocks the view, because this thing almost never connects. I forgot to even load the app on my phone to use this thing, but I turned it on anyway to see if it ever connects, and it's facing the southern sky right now, and yeah, it's still, oh, there it is. It just connected. How crazy. But basically you have to kind of hold it out, maybe take it off the climbing carabiner. But basically you had to get it like this in a clearing away from mountains towards the south sky, or it just doesn't connect. It's connected now, but I wouldn't recommend this thing. Well, with the nicest weather you can imagine, and just a few annoying bugs. I got the tent set up. It's absolutely comfortable. I think there's one other camper. He kind of waved as we went by on the beach, but yeah, this is all set up. Got the bear box. I'm gonna get a fire going here in a minute and absolutely relax. This has actually been one of my favorite trips out, other than dropping the microphone receiver in water. This has been a really nice hike. Water from the lake, it's not exactly wallet chilly. I put my hands in the water and it's pretty warm near the surface. Maybe a little deeper. The water's pretty clear. Well, after some trying and finding some already split wood, I got the fire going. And this is a pretty relaxing, awesome night. I don't know if the other guy's still over there. He came down by the beach once and looked, and then I didn't see him again. Messed around and got this thing going. People left some wood for me and found some other deadfall. There are these hummingbirds that make a noise. They're red. They're bigger than the hummingbirds that you see in Everett. Other than that, it's completely quiet out here. Well, it's been a nice night. It took me forever to get that fire going. If you're not from the Pacific Northwest, then you're not going to be used to the moisture so deep in every piece of wood. But finally got it going, and I got to say again, this has got to be the nicest campsite I've stayed at since I started hiking in Washington. Not the nicest trail, but definitely close to it. Man, Baker Lake is something. Well, looks like I'm gonna turn it in for the night, have some pad thai, and see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Had a good night. It was a little bit chilly in the beginning, but it was plenty warm this morning. Just gotta let the little bit of dew come off the tent rain fly and pack it up, and we'll get back to the car. Maybe have some coffee. So just gonna go ahead and have some coffee. I don't think it'll take very long for that dew to dry. Usually it takes hours in the sun, but it's such a nice day today that my guess is we'll be out of here pretty quick. I don't know why you'd want to though. Sure is nice here. Forgot the water filter. Alrighty, now we got the filter. Get some coffee. Here it is. So we're gonna go here and get the food out of this bear can. Only just gonna get the coffee out. In the trash. Can of beer I didn't drink. Coffee's in there. There's the trash. Well, that was something. But yeah, you keep your food in here at night. It's better than having to go sling a stupid bag. I'm gonna go ahead and make some coffee. See what little more drying I can get done with that rain fly because it's still damp. And we'll be out of here. It's only about 8:45 right now. It's just starting to become summer and it gets light pretty early now. I think it's kind of one of those better be safe than sorry. If you can boil the water before you drink it, I guess it's better. The grill says it removes 99.99 statistically nearly improbable number of everything, including viruses. So I'll drink from the streams and the lakes if I have to. I've got everything packed away after momentarily losing a few items, some straps, but I found them, stuck them in the weird bag that it's a little bit washed, so I thought I would take one more walk down here. And it's getting really sunny right now, so packed up. I would really recommend this Baker Lake trail. It's one of the most beautiful trails I've been on. As we walk out of one of the nicest campsites I've been at, we're looking at about, I think 5 miles or so before we get out of here. It's pretty flat. I don't see that other person at this campsite though. My phone said I closed my fitness ring yesterday. Noisy Creek is a little more noisy down here. There's a trail that leads up. I guess you can go see falls or something, which I think I can hear. There's a bridge that goes onto the second set of campsites down there. I think they're about 5 more miles. I wish I could make this trip to the second set of campsites. I just don't have time. Well, as you learned yesterday, there's blowdowns like this on the trail. You can see the trail go back over there, but you just gotta take your time, climb over this stuff. I slipped a bunch, started dropping things. I think trail crews come through and get rid of this stuff as the weather improves, but also volunteers, but they ain't got here yet. But it's not that big of a deal. You can get past it. I'm gonna try to navigate this. Logs tend to be, or wood in general, tends to be real slippery when it gets wet. And for whatever reason, my Soleils don't grab it. I got past that. Well, this hike, like most of the videos I've put on this channel, are meant to be easy and approachable. As it starts to get to summer though, I'm gonna try to put some multi-days in there. I'm gonna try to go for miles and stuff, but took a naproxen break and saw some other people going to day hike to Noisy Creek. I think 5 miles is a great day hike if you want to hike for about get down there about lunchtime, and probably 3:30, 4 o'clock you get back to the vehicle. It's a lot less people. There were 4 or 5 cars at the other trailhead, which is the south end of this lake. Also, I believe if you had a ride, you could through hike this trail. You could start up here on the north end of the lake and hike this trail, go to Noisy Creek. I forget the name of the other 2 campgrounds, but there's 2 other ones. But I've heard there's a bridge out as you get close to the other trailhead, so I'll have to check on that. But that sounds like a fun thing to do on this. Given the entire time, it's going to be really pretty. Well, this is the thing that gave me so much trouble yesterday. The tree is falling on the boardwalk. This just keeps you off the water that drains down the side of the hill here. But the wood is wet and I slip around. Like I was saying yesterday, my Soleils just don't want to grip it, so I'm probably not going to record this. So I can be sure and hang on to the microphone and the camera the whole way. Well, I think we've only got about a mile left. I passed another group of hikers there. They were taking their time and just taking pictures and stuff. This trail's pretty popular when the weather warms up, so if you're planning on camping at Baker Lake along the hiking trail along the east side of the lake, you probably should look into doing it during the week or get out here early if you're coming during the weekend, because it looks pretty busy. One of the big highlights of the hike is these, presumably at certain times of the year, much more full creeks and rivers that you get to walk over. I bet at certain times of the year that thing is downright dangerous. Well, aside from a few blowdowns, That one on the boardwalk, a few trees that are just down in the path, branches and stuff. Takes a little bit more time, but other than that, this is a pretty easy trail. I think anybody could do it. It's exercise, it's 5 miles, and you can do it as a day hike, have lunch and come back, or you can go on to the next one. But I got out here at course 11, so. We're back where it splits. This right here is Baker River Trail, which goes back into North Cascades National Park, which you have to have a backcountry permit to sleep in. And this is just Mount Baker Snoqualmie National Forest on this side. I think a lot of people will like park here and then day hike into the national park and then come back and leave. Of course, North Cascades National Park is the one where they're getting ready to reintroduce the grizzly bears. Well, that was Baker Lake East from JW Outdoors. Thanks for watching.